is the heart of a woman. Question is why I do the things I do. Answer I may never find, but love is true.
Hello, this is my truth. Alright y'all, so as y'all can see by the title of my video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my truth, my story that happened to me 10 years ago. Okay, so, and I'm telling this story because I feel like there are other women that can relate to it, that've been through it, that are going through it right now as well. So this is why I want to share my story. It took me a minute to talk about it. I've had a few of my friends say you need to share your story. So, and that's why I finally came today and I was like, I got something was telling me, tell it, just tell your truth, tell your story. So let's go. So, okay, so in 2014, I had just found out that I was pregnant with my first child. I've never had a scare, never been pregnant before then. I was 31 years old at the time. And I was excited. I was very excited. I was shocked, for one. I was shocked. I was on the depot for so long that I didn't feel like I could have kids for some reason. Like I said, I never had a scare, never been pregnant, none of that. So finding out that I was pregnant was very shocking to me. And how I found out I was pregnant, I was like backed up a little bit. Like I was constipated, and not only that, my left boob was hurt. Not my left, my right boob was hurting. And I kept going to the doctor. I went to the doctor twice. The first time I went, she thought, you know, she checked me, my boobs and everything. She said everything was good. So then time went on, and then I said the constipation part. So then she gave me some medicine. She gave me Miralax, I think it was, to take for a little time. So I was taking that, and I was like, this stuff is not working. What else can you give me? So she brought me back in. So yeah, so it was 3 times. I'm sorry, y'all. So she brought me back in, and then she was like, did I do a pregnancy test on you? And I said, no. So she was like, come on. So she took me back. She told me to leave my name, date of birth, all that stuff on the cup. Did what I had to do. Came back, y'all. I wasn't even sitting in my seats for a good 2 minutes before she came and knocked back on the door. She gave me this eye. She was like, you pregnant? And I was like, what? And I'm like, I am baffled. I don't know. I didn't have any words. She was like, you want me to give you a minute? And I was like, yes. I was like, please give me a minute. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my phone, I'm texting his dad, and I'm telling him. He was like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And at the moment, I couldn't tell if he was excited, if he was just as shocked as I was. I couldn't tell at that moment. So I was like, oh my God. And I forgot how many weeks she ended up telling me, but I was pretty far. I wasn't like in the 20s or nothing like that, but I was pretty far. I think I was like 10 or 11 weeks. Now, mind you, I had been on depot for so long, I wasn't having a period like that. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I had one. They weren't regular, let me say that. So of course, I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I didn't know who I wanted to tell. So I ended up telling my mom, and I think I told my sister. And we had waited a little while. I think he waited a little while to tell his mom and his side of the family, which was okay. That's cool with me. Sometimes telling too early, you don't know, right? So time went on. I was excited, y'all. I was so happy just seeing my stomach grow, all that. I was just so happy. And I was like, I'm gonna be a mom, because I've always wanted to be a mom, at least 1 or 2. So I was just so excited, y'all. So one day I'm at work, and I go to the bathroom and I wipe, and there's not a lot of blood, but it's like enough for me to be concerned. So as I finish doing what I do, I go into my office and I call my doctor and I let them know what's going on. And they tell me, can you come up here? And I said, yes. So I'm gonna talk to my boss. And she said, yeah, just go. So I left, just praying that hopefully everything was gonna be okay. I didn't know what it was. You know, this, like I said, this is my first time being pregnant. Yes, I know a lot of people who've been pregnant. I've seen a lot of people, you know, all those things. I've even went to school for medical, in the medical field for several things. So I know some things, but just experiencing them myself was hard. So I get to the doctor's office. They call me back. This doctor first does a transvaginal ultrasound, and he's telling me at that moment he doesn't hear anything. So he's like, well, just let me do the one on the ultrasound on the stomach. So he does that, and I'm not sure if you ladies are familiar, but when they do the ultrasound on your stomach and the screen light up red and blue, so you know everything is okay. The baby's breathing, the baby's doing fine, right? So that's what he does, and he's like, everything seems to be okay and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so I'm okay. And he's like, yeah. So I proceed to do my day-to-day like I always have been. Now, mind you, this was 2 to 3 days later after I left the doctor's. I go to the grocery store. I gotta go to the grocery store. I was not walking around the grocery store. I was a little hub around. And my homegirl was with me, and so was her 2 little boys, and they were helping me. So I got back home. They helped me bring my groceries in, and I'm hungry because let me tell you one thing about being pregnant, I stay hungry, okay? So I'm in the kitchen, and I forgot what it was, but I had put it in my toast oven. And so it was hot, it was warm, so I had on a little dress. I remember the dress I had on. I had this little red and white striped dress with my little jean cover up and my little sandals. So I'm leaning across my bed, actually not really leaning, but you know how you kind of sit a little forward. So I'm sitting like that and standing, and next thing I know, I feel something going down my leg. Now, mind you, I thought this was sweat, y'all. So I looked down. I mean, I really didn't pay no attention to it. I thought it was sweat, and I did a little white. You know how you do a little white with your leg? So then something was like, something is still coming. So I looked down, and it's blood. Blood, y'all. So I go to the bathroom. I don't know how much toilet paper it took for me to stop it from bleeding, but I called my homegirl. I said, girl, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm bleeding. And she was like, okay, I'm coming. So I'm texting his dad, I'm texting my mom, I'm texting my sister, and I'm telling them I'm on the way to the ER. Now mind y'all, I'm 4.5 months pregnant. Now let me stop right there because I forgot to tell y'all this part. Before this had happened, I had went to EBMS, if y'all know what that is, Eternal Fetal Medicine. I went there to get my ultrasound. Now I went early because of my age. So at that time I was probably 3 months, something like that. And the lady that was doing my ultrasound, she said, your baby is so active and the baby having a good old time. She said, but do you want to know your sex? Because I can tell you the sex of the baby right now. And back then, it wasn't all about the gender revealed and all that type of stuff. I don't think I would have done it anyway. But I said, yeah. So she was like, you're having a little boy. I was so excited, y'all. I was like, my little boy, mama's baby. So, all right, let's jump back to the part when I get to the ER. I get to the ER, check in, all that, and I'm sitting there. Now, mind y'all, I've been bleeding, okay, and I'm 4.5 months pregnant. They have me sitting in the waiting room. So I'm trying to be calm. I'm trying to be patient. I know how triage and everything is, and I'm thinking to myself, to me, I should be one of the ones going back first. So my sister gets very annoyed. She calls one of her homegirls that is a nurse upstairs. She was like, just go to the front desk. So my sister went to the front desk, explained to the young lady at the desk what was going on. It seemed like another 10 minutes, 15 minutes went by. And then finally, I guess my sister called her friend and she came downstairs and talked to the girl at the desk and told them, y'all need to get her back there. So I got back there and I'm laying on the table that they had me laying on, and the doctors in this ER, y'all, I had 2 male doctors coming there trying to do ultrasound. Neither one of them knew how to do ultrasound. I don't understand how you work in the ER and don't know how to do an ultrasound, and you're MD. Like, that blew my mind. So I had one doctor try, and he was saying that he didn't hear anything as far as the heartbeat. And so they was like, let me get one of the doctors from your office to come down. I don't know if she was there or she had to leave the office to come to the hospital. Y'all, I love that lady because she did everything that she could. She checked and she checked and she checked and she checked. And finally, she just came and kneeled to me and said, there's no heartbeat. And y'all, I literally broke down crying. Like, I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop. And y'all, I've talked about this story before, but just kind of reliving the whole thing again, it's really making me emotional right now. So, and so she gave me my moment. They gave me my moment, and crying with his dad and the father of my child. You know, he's still Mari's dad. Crying. I mean, I had to get myself together, but I cried and cried and cried till I couldn't cry anymore. And then they finally came into my room, and they gave me the option at that moment. They said, do you want to deliver him, or do you want us to do a DNC? And I chose to deliver him. A lot of people ask me why, and it's because I wanted to actually do the process. I wanted to pass my baby so I could see my baby. That's why. So they took me upstairs. I don't remember them giving me an epidural. I don't think I need it because my contractions, I honestly could take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and it was gone. I can't even remember how long I was in labor, because it was, they did give me some medicine to rush the labor, and I cannot think of what the name of the medicine is, but to push it so everything would go faster. Every time they kept checking me, had to come check me, I said I had to go to the bathroom every time. And then it was that last time he was like, I'm coming to check you. I said, well, I gotta go. Can I go to the bathroom? And he was like, yeah. So I went to the bathroom, and while I was in the bathroom, he slipped right on out. And the way I guess I hollered, the nurse and the doctor already knew what it was. So she came in, she said, I'm coming in. She clipped my baby umbilical cord off and took him. And he was about this small, y'all. He was so small. They say he couldn't even fit a preemie pamper. That's how small my baby was. Now, mind you, he's only 4.5 months. That was really hard for me to see him like that. So they took him, they got me back to the bed. They were pushing on my stomach to see if the placenta was gonna come out. It did not come out. So I ended up having to have a DNC anyway. So, but y'all, when I was, the process of me delivering my son, I'm hearing a woman across the hall from me. Yes, they had me on the floor with women that were delivering their babies. This lady was screaming like somebody was killing her. And they was like, don't worry about it. Don't be alarmed. Just focus. We got you right here, you know. And y'all, my nurses and my doctor that day, oh my gosh, I love them all. Oh, they treated me so nice. So nice. And I was like, why is this lady screaming like this? And at one moment I was thinking, like, why do they got me on this end? They could have put me way on the other end of the hall so I didn't have to hear that. But I can't stop that. That wasn't nothing the doctor could have done or whatever. Now that I know that, you know, it was God's plan, you know. So And then the next day when I came back from getting the DNC, because they did put me to sleep, I don't remember any of that. I know I was just ready to eat, because mind you, I hadn't eaten nothing since I got to the hospital. So I couldn't eat till I came back to my room, which was the next morning? Yeah, it was that morning. So, and they gave me my menu, which was like on the iPad or whatever, and they told me to get whatever I wanted. So I ordered everything I wanted. I enjoyed all of my food. Still, they wanted me to walk around the hospital on my floor, and as I'm walking, I see, and nowadays, well, back then too, they didn't have the babies in the room. They have them in the room with the mother now. So as I'm walking, I see a baby in the window, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is he in there if the babies is supposed to be with the mother? Y'all, when I looked in this window, this baby looked like he was already about 4 or 5 months old. He was so chunky. And the man that was at the window, he was like, yeah, that's my grandson. He said, if you heard that screaming last night, that was my daughter. He said he was 10 pounds. And I said, what? I said, oh my God. So I knew why she was screaming. The baby probably ripped her pretty bad. But he was so chunky. But y'all, I think I stayed in the hospital, I think it was 2 days, if I'm not mistaken, and then they let me go home. But y'all, when I tell you, going through something like this is hard. It is hard, very hard. And I got home. I didn't go to work for a few weeks. I definitely was depressed. Definitely was. Like I said, I stayed with my windows closed. It was always dark in the house. I was having people calling and checking on me every day. It was times where I didn't even want to answer the phone. So I guess when I didn't answer the phone, people was texting me. And it was hard, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was very hard. Anything that came on the commercial that was sad, that I took sad, I cried. I could not stop crying. And my son's father, he was like, you gotta get out the house. You can't stay in the house like this. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but it's hard for me to do that. And I'm saying like, men don't understand how a woman feels. And I know he was trying to understand that, but a man will never understand how a woman feels. A man will never have that bond a woman has with their child. They will never understand it. And I got that he was trying to help me, but I had to move in my own time. So eventually I did go somewhere with him, and it did help me a little bit. We went to go play golf. It did help. It helped in that moment, but as soon as I got back home, it was back to what it was. So, and I honestly commend those women who have gone through this multiple times, because when I talk to women and know their story and know, some of them went to it 4, 5, 6 times. And that's hard. I know it's hard, because me dealing with it once was, oh my God. So I can only imagine, y'all, how hard it was for her to deal with that multiple times. The Lord did bless me, because they told me once I had the DNC that I was going to be clean as a whistle, and baby, I was, and they was not lying, okay? But 4 months later, I end up getting pregnant with my son Damari, who I love so bad, so much. Your kids work your nerves. They might even get on your nerves sometimes, but you know that you love them. And I love my son dearly. That is my world, my heart, my everything. Do you understand me? And people will like tell me, oh, you baby him, you spoil him. To be honest, if you knew my story, and majority of them know my story, this is why I do it. This is why. Me not knowing that I would ever have a baby, and God blessed me to get pregnant again, and this time full term, I was grateful. And yes, I spoil and baby my child. This is my only child, y'all. This is my only child. And so, yes, that's why I spoil and baby my son. Now, I don't baby him that much to a certain extent. I'm gonna be honest, because he still has things that he has to do in his chores. But that's my baby. And yeah, I know some people are like, girl, you get him everything he wants. And I do. It might not be at that moment, because if he's been being bad, he ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying? But that is my heart, my world. And it was scary with him as well, because when I was 9 months, I had gotten in a car accident. And it was, if you looked at my car, you would think it was bad, but God was there. Okay. The young man kind of sort of T-boned me a little bit, running the stop. Well, he stopped, but then I don't know how he didn't see me, but then he ran the stop sign pretty much and hit me. And I was more concerned about my son than anything. And thank the Lord he was okay. But he came 3 days early. 4 days early. Because this is what some people say is weird, or don't you think it's a little strange? I don't know. That's what some people say. But I honestly still think it was a blessing, because when the day that I lost my son, my first son, it was August the 28th of 2014. And my son's due date was August 28th, 2015. And he ended up coming 4 days early. So, y'all, it was rough. And when I hear other women, being that I work in a OB office, and I hear about them losing their baby, or the situation is me, they don't hear heartbeat, I truly, truly understand. And if I could share my story with them at that moment, I would. And we could cry together, because that is the hardest thing ever. The hardest thing. And it's hard to get through it as well, especially like for myself, that was my first child. That was my first pregnancy ever. And it was very hard. And it's the same for other women, regardless how many pregnancies they had. It's still rough when you lose a baby. It's rough. And I just wanted to share that with you all. I really pray and I hope that it helps someone that might be going through it right now, that has been going through it, that can relate to it, that's been through it themselves, that know others that's been through it. It's rough. It is so, so rough. And I wouldn't put that on my worst enemy. I would not. That is something that is hard. It is definitely, to me, traumatizing, because with my pregnancy, with my son, with Mari, I was nauseous for 6 months straight. Nauseous. I never upchucked. It was just nauseous on and off all day. And they came out with that pill that I think, if y'all remember, that Kim Kardashian was sponsoring or whatever. They gave that to me. Honestly, it stayed in my closet at my old place for the longest time. I never took them. I said I'd rather deal with it than risk with anything that's gonna mess with my baby. I didn't. I honestly thought, I was starting to think that the Miralax, that had something to do with it, because I was taking that because I was constipated. And that is one annoying thing as well. But knowing now, that is a side effect as well of being pregnant too. But it's rough, it's hard, and it's something that's going to take a while to get over. I still think about him every single day. Every single day. When I got pregnant with my second son, when I got pregnant with Mari, let me say that because y'all know Mari. And I refused to go back to that doctor's office, period. I went to a whole nother doctor. And I felt like it was the doctor's fault. Whether if anything could have been done about it, I don't know. We'll never know. Because to me, being that he didn't hear, or whether he heard it or if it was faint or whatever the case may be, he didn't hear his heartbeat with the transvaginal ultrasound. I felt like he should have did a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But I don't question God. If God felt that it wasn't meant for me at that moment, people tell me maybe something was wrong, maybe he wasn't this, maybe he wasn't fully developed, maybe something was wrong, and God felt like, no, we're not going to be able to bring this child into this world like that. She won't be able to do that. Maybe he did that because of that. I don't know. But I do know that I told them if he was a doctor on call to deliver, they was going to have to call somebody else. Because I don't even think I could look at that man in his face. I do not. I really do feel like something else could have been done. But like I said, we would never know. I don't think he took the extra precautions to even see if anything was causing that. But I don't know. Do I have a grudge over the man? No. I just don't think I could ever talk to him, go to his office, go in that office, period, again. I couldn't. But y'all, that was the end of my story. I really, like I said, I really hope that this helped somebody. And I truly thank you all for listening to me. If you can relate, please drop pink hearts down below in the comment section. Or let me know if you've been through it. Tell me your story. And I have Instagram as well. I also have TikTok. If you want to just DM me and we can talk about it, please. Because honey, I got you. We got each other. You know, we're here to help each other. You understand? So again, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.